Happy Halloween, everybody. This is Dan Grady. Disappearing head. Wow, there we go. Okay, happy Halloween. Yes, it is Halloween. And so I wasn't doing anything at the moment, so I thought I would whip together a quick video for your viewing pleasure on the Layers panel in Adobe Illustrator and some tips and tricks that I use all the time. We'll also be talking about how to export our layers to Photoshop intact from Adobe Illustrator, because I've been asked that before, how to do that and how to export our art without flattening the artwork for further adjustments. Okay, so I have our layers panel open over here, and I'm just assuming you guys know the basics of the layers panel. I'm not going to be talking about everything about this because there's so much to it, but more so just some tips and tricks, some things to help your workflow go a little faster, which is always good, especially when you're working for a client. The faster you go, the more money you're making a lot of times. As you know, you could toggle these little eyeballs, which are also very appropriate for Halloween. Yes, they're pretty creepy. I don't really know why they have these in the user interface. They're kind of funny. They don't really go along with anything else, I think, but they're effective. So anyways, as you know, you could toggle visibility on and off with these. Another thing is that by hitting Control or Command Y, we could put our illustrations to outline mode, which I do all the time. I switch between preview and outline mode tons while I'm working, because sometimes it's hard to select things when it's covered up by a top layer. So you need to see the outline. You could grab individual things a lot easier. But what if you need to just put part of the illustration in outline mode? I'm glad you asked. That's actually very, very simple. All we need to do, let me make sure we have this guy in my illustration still. There we go. So now we can see what's going on. All we need to do, say I want to make this head in outline mode, but not the rest of his body. Well, all I need to do is hit Command or Control on the keyboard. While holding that, click on the little eyeball. Zoink. Awesome. Now, as you can see, I have only part of my illustration outlined. And this, even more appropriate for Halloween, this eyeball has turned to a zombie eye. It is like white in the center, and it's even creepier still. To turn that off, all we need to do is do the same thing, back on it again. Another useful trick is, what if I want to display only the head and have all of the rest of the layers invisible? Now I can go over here and click one off at a time, which really is not a big deal, unless you have some illustrations I make have 100+ layers, and that would be a nightmare to do. So an easier thing is you select the layer you want and hit Alt or Option and click. And as you can see, all of those at once went away. Say you just wanted the right arm, Alt or Option click. That can save you a tons of time. There's also some other neat things that are hidden in these pull-down menus, and you cannot see that at all because I'm zoomed in. You'll see these little pull-down menus on different parts of Illustrator that give you different options. These can be extremely helpful. It's always fun, I think, to kind of search through these things in different panels and see what kind of things you could find, because there's some really neat stuff. For example, sometimes I use, let's see if I could find it. Okay, duplicate the head layer. Since I had the head layer selected, I have this option, duplicate head. So if I hit that, boop, it made another head. As you can see, it says head copy right here, directly on top of my other head. So when I toggle this, you don't see any difference. Let me delete that. That is a lot faster than control copying, control paste, command pasting onto our illustration. Okay, so now you may ask, I have this awesome illustration that is all layered out perfectly, and this one in particular is layered out really good for animation. So I've originally created him for a game, and so he's layered out so he can be easily animated by his joints. But say I wanted to make some adjustments to this character outside of Illustrator, say in Photoshop. But I want to keep the layers intact. And you ask, Dan, how do I do that? Well, I will show you how you can do that. It's as simple as going up to your file, go to Export. You see it right there. You have to go to this, File, Export. And then what we do is we have our layer. You could rename if you want. And format, this is the important part. Choose your format if you wish for it to go to Photoshop as a PSD file. Okay? When we click on Export, I already have one that I created earlier, so I'm going to hit Replace. There's going to be a really important little tick box right here in the Options panel. Write Layers. If we go to Flat Image, it's going to make this all in one layer. But if we go to Write Layers, it will preserve those layers. So I'm going to go to OK. All right. And now, please excuse my messy desktop here. If we look in this folder I saved it in, you'll see Cute Zombies PSD. And now I'm going to open that with Adobe Photoshop, and we will see the magic happen. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop, and here are our layers preserved. I am still in Illustrator. Here we are in Photoshop. And if we look down here, we will see that all of my layers are preserved. So if I untwirl these boxes right here, you will see the head layer, right arm, body, right leg, left arm, and I could toggle those on and off. And I can move them around, and they will be independent from the other layers. And now I have all my layers intact, and I could do adjustments like if I wanted to, I don't know, shrink it, I guess, shrink the zombie head. Of course, you could do this in Illustrator, but you'll find color corrective things you could do in here that you cannot do in Illustrator. So I switch between different programs all the time while I work. And this is really useful to have your layers stay intact, especially if you want to keep them for animation or different applications. That could save you a lot of time, and I'm having a hard time talking today. So I will end now, but I hope these things have helped you a little bit. So I will see you next time.